Are you a new podcaster feeling frustrated or overwhelmed with the editing process? Trust me, you are not alone. Today, I'm going to share the top 3 benefits of outsourcing your podcast editing, complete with examples for you.
The Podcast Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.
Welcome back to the Podcast Empire. I'm your host, Tracy Cook, where we teach purpose-driven women in business to launch profitable podcasts to build their brand and their influence. Let's dive in. Save time and boost your productivity. As a new podcaster, you're always juggling a lot of content creation, marketing, engaging with your audience. Adding editing into the mix can be overwhelming, frustrating, and confusing for people who have to learn that new skill, especially a new podcaster. Now, there are editing softwares like Riverside where you can record and edit in the same software, and there's many, many of them. But for those that really want to record, stay in their content creation mode, then this episode will be for you. Stick around to the end and I'll be sharing a free resource with you as well. So imagine using that time, if you outsource your editing, to brainstorm new content, engage with your audience, or network with other creators. Instead of being stuck in front of your computer for hours, which editing can sometimes take hours, even with the best software, depending on the production level outcome that you actually want, you could be conducting interviews, attending industry events, having guest episodes, being a podcast guest, or planning your next big series. Outsourcing also means you can stick to a consistent release schedule. Consistency is key in podcasting, and it keeps your audience engaged and looking forward to the next episode. With more time on your hands, you can also focus on marketing and promoting your podcast, helping you to grow your listener base even faster. What kind of professional sounding quality do you want for your video and or audio podcast? Do you want high level, high production, mediocre? Do you want to keep in the ins and the ahs to make it sound more organic and authentic? As a new podcaster, learning the ins and outs of auto editing software, it can be really daunting. Experienced editors bring a level of expertise that can transform your podcast without you having to master that other skill. So let's think about it this way. Professional editors, they know all the tricks to make your audio sound crisp and clear. They can remove background noise, balance audio levels, seamlessly edit out mistakes. If the dog barks in the background, if someone opens a door, if a child speaks in the background, they can edit all of that out. They can edit out your bloopers, the long paused moments. Now imagine your listeners having a better experience and being able to hear every word clearly without distractions. And this kind of quality keeps your audience engaged and makes your content more listenable and enjoyable, and most of all, shareable. The truth is that when your podcast sounds great, it builds your credibility and positions you as an expert in your field and adds an element of professionalism, and it will really encourage more people to subscribe and share your show. You won't have to worry about your podcast sounding amateurish. A professional touch makes all the difference. And finally, benefit number 3 is being cost effective. You might think that outsourcing is really expensive, but let's break it down. High quality editing software can cost hundreds of dollars, or it can be at the cheaper end, under $50 a month for some of the editing and recording software. So it depends where your budget is. And the time investment of learning how to use it effectively can be significant. Time is our biggest asset. So we want to be able to use our time creatively, and outsourcing can surprisingly be affordable, but you're paying for an expertise that ensures a high quality result. Plus, the time you save can be spent on activities that generate revenue for your podcast, like securing sponsorships or creating merchandise, connections, and networks. Many editing services offer many different packages for all different prices, all different levels, and it all depends on what your needs are. So reassess your vision and your goal for your podcast so you can choose something that fits your budget and your needs. And some might even offer extra services like AI, show notes, social media promotion, or video editing for your podcast YouTube channel, for your video podcast. And this way, you get more value for your money and your podcast will reach a wider and broader audience. So are you ready to take your podcast to the next level? If you're feeling overwhelmed with the editing process or frustrated by having to learn another skill, learn another thing to do with your podcast, then outsourcing is the solution that you need. When you outsource your editing, you watch your brand elevate to so many new levels. So here at the Podcast Empire, we have podcast management services alongside our programs, our courses, and our coaching. So if you are somebody that wants to stay in their genius zone and just create content so you can have a broader connection with your audience, you can just record your episodes, hand them over to us. We upload, we edit, we sound engineer, we do your show notes, so you can get to task on just creating content so you can speak to your ideal listener. Please drop a message below and one of our team will reach out to you and have a conversation about that. And if you did find this episode helpful, make sure that you hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more podcasting tips and tricks. If you're ready to start your own podcast, comment pod and I'll share some information about how to get started. Thanks for joining. Will you now be looking at outsourcing your editing? I'll see you in the pod and on the next episode.
The Podcat's Empire, podcast mastery for women in business.